So guys, in this video we will be discussing about the techniques of identity theft. Identity theft which can happen in day-to-day life as we know. So attacks can happen in two ways. So that is one with a human based one, another one is a computer based identity theft. So human based is a traditional method. In this method attacker may or may not use the technology based one. Okay, so in that we are categorizing into direct access to the information, dumpster diving, theft of a purse or the wallet, mail theft or a rerouting. So rerouting, I'll give you one example on it. So with the scenario, so direct access information is the people who earn a certain degree of a trust. For example, usually it happens in a home. So we will keep a maid, house cleaners, babysitters, or nurses. So where the usually women's used to share everything with them, right? So the people who will gain the certain degree of trust to get the legitimate access to businesses or to a residence to steal the required information. Okay, so next is the dumpster diving. So dumpster diving is nothing but retrieving the information from the trash bins. So this is one of the common attack. Okay, so next have a theft of a purse or a wallet. So wallet contains usually debit, credit card details, driving license, Aadhaar cards. So this is to just steal, to pass or to sell your data to somebody else. So that is nothing but theft of a purse or a wallet. So mail theft or a rerouting is it is easy to steal the postal mails from the mailboxes which has a poor security mechanisms. So you consider a scenario where a criminal wants to steal someone's identity to open the fraudulent credit accounts. Okay, so what they could do is they steal your mail and reroute the mail. What they do, steal the mail means they steal the mail from the victim's mailbox hoping to find the bank statements or credit card offers. So what they will do is they submit a change of address form online, redirecting the victim's mail to an address they control. They allows them to receive new credit cards or account information sent to the victim. So this will give you identity theft, steal a mail, rerouting of. Stealing means getting the information about the credit cards and all the offers and the account details. So what you will do will change the address and apply for the credit cards and purchasing of it. Okay, so that is nothing but your mail theft or the rerouting of it. Next, shoulder surfing means so when you are, for example, you take your mobile when you are typing the locking number to unlock it, your friend will be standing back on you and looking at you silently. So that is nothing but the shoulder surfing. So it is a low tech but effective way for the criminals to steal the personal information where it involves directly observing someone entering the sensitive data. So next you have an ATM scam. So when you are at withdrawing the ATM cash, someone stands close behind you, seemingly waiting for their turn. However, they are actually watching your fingers. So what the pin that you wanna enter, and they can steal your card and use the stolen pin to access your account. So this is how customers use ATM. Observes the watches pin entry. Observer will steal the card from you, and later he will access your account. Next, you have a false or disguised ATM, so that we got as skimming. What do you mean by skimming? Skimming is actually a type of electronic theft where criminal uses the device to capture your credit or debit information when you swipe your card at a compromised machine. So they usually keep the one device where they will use to capture the credit or debit card information. When you swipe the card at the machine itself got compromised, they will keep some cameras or sensors to read your data. So next we have a disguised ATMs. These are all the ATMs that have been tampered with to look normal but have hidden skimming devices which got installed. So these devices will steal the information about the PIN numbers of your ATM card. So one scenario that we can explain here is the criminal installs a skimming device on ATM machine at a convenience store. The device is disguised to look like normal ATM machine only. A customer uses the ATM to withdraw its cash. So due to this skimming device which captures everything about the card, so the criminal retrieves the skimming device and uses the stolen information to make the purchases or withdraw the money from the customer account. So this is how what the steps will they follow. They'll install the skimmer, the customer interaction. The customer will just come as of like there is no problem with the ATM. He'll retrieve the money. He'll take it. So by using the skimming device, the attacker will retrieve the data, and by using all those information he can execute the fraudulent activity. Maybe you have a dishonest or mistreated employees. The employee or the partner with access to the personal files or the salary information, like insurance files or the bank information, uh, gathered all sorts of confidential information which can be used to provide a sufficient damage. So next, telemarketing and fake telephone calls is one of the most effective way of collecting the information. So as of we were listening, when we call to somebody, we will get some alert message saying that if somebody is calling from that company, this company, or they are asking you for money, all those things, we are not supposed to respond to them. So that is fake telephone calls. So one of the effective way of collecting the information from the unsuspecting people, the caller who makes, we call it as a cold call. So ask the victim to verify the account information immediately on the phone, even without much explanation or verification. So we already learned about the phishing. So this is the explanation for the phishing also. So these are all about what are the things that we have learned in human based one. So one is with the shoulder surfing, steal direct access to the information, dumpster diving, thefting of a purse or wallet, mail theft, then ATM scam, shoulder surfing, false or disguised employees and disguised ATMs, dishonest or mistreated employees, telemarketing calls. So these are all the things of a human based one. So next you have a computer based technique. So these techniques are the attempts made by an attacker to exploit the victim by making use of the technologies using a computers. Correct. Backup theft. So backup theft which involves stealing copies of the data containing sensitive personal information from the storage locations like the external drives, or can be either the person can store your external device or he can store your cloud services. The stolen data is used by the criminals to commit the identity theft. So next you have an hacking or unauthorized access to the system and the database theft. So hacking involves hacking basically in order to get the unauthorized access to the system, right? Often targeting the databases, the database nothing but the data breaches. So where data will get leaked. So from the if he is getting data from the databases, right? Achieve the various techniques how they can achieve this. So by exploiting the vulnerabilities in order to then they can embed the virus, worms or Trojan horses kind of things, right? So once they get the control, then they can store the information. They can take the data. They can take the username, password. They can take the information about your bank. Correct. So this is about the hacking and unauthorized access to the system and the database theft. Phishing, we already know. Phishing is a cyber attack where criminal attempts to trick the individual to reveal their confidential information. We spent around 3 hours to learn about the phishing. So hope everybody knows about the phishing. I don't want to stress so much on it. So again, forming we already discussed about it. Forming is just similar like your phishing, but it is more insidious. So it is having a host file poisoning and the DNS poisoning. This also we already discussed it. Again, I don't want to give attention to it. Next, you have a redirectors. So what redirectors does is, so we were embedding the malicious programs, redirecting the traffic for other serious threat. So these programs, what they does is, they will manipulate the computer network settings itself to send you to a website where you don't intend it to visit. Correct. So often their purpose for the redirection is to steal the information or to spread the malware across the computers connected to the network in order to gain the control of the network. So here are the scenario for the redirection port. So especially with the port, I've already told you port is nothing but the channel, in which channel that you wanna go and communicate with a particular system. So scenario is a fake banking website. So malware infection, a user is unknowingly downloaded and installs the malware through phishing attack. So next they are targeting the 443 HTTPS. So when I'm discussing with the phishing, I told you with the port number 80, 443 and 8080. So here targeting the port number which is for HTTPS. So malware specifically targets the port number 443, which is standard port. So when the user tries to access their online banking website, for example mybank.com, so their computer initiates a connection to the port 443 of the bank server. Okay, so redirection, malware inter. This is a targeting. So where targeting means where the client wants to communicate with the mybank.com server. So redirection will work here. Malware intercepts this connection attempt and redirects it to a different server controlled by the attacker where the victim doesn't know about it. Okay, so redirection happens at the network level, so the user will be obviously unaware of it. Next, you have a fake website. Obviously, his intention was to go with the my bank, but he got into the fake website. So we discussed about the website forgery. So website forgery will comes under the website fake websites. So this website will be developed by the hacker. Information theft, whatever the information that you give in that fake websites, everything will feeling that this is the real bank website. So attacker will now have the all the information whatever you have entered in it. So next you have optional forwarding. In some cases attacker might then forward the user to the real banking website after capturing all the credentials. It may be optional one. What he will do, for how much amount of time you want to have a communication with you, that much amount of time he will stay with you. After that he will reroute to you to the normal website where you want to have a transactions or the communication with the legitimate server. So this makes an attack even more difficult to detect because the landing page is what the victim was intended, right? So that is how it is difficult to find. So this I have given you how malware infection, then you're targeting the port, then doing the redirection, landing to the fake website, after gaining all the information again redirecting to the, so capturing then you're redirecting to the normal server, the intended victim to land. So next you have an hardware based identity theft where it involves the physical devices to steal the personal information. So this can range from the simple methods like stealing the laptop, smartphones to more sophisticated techniques like by making use of the keyloggers, right? Keyloggers and the skimming device. We already discussed about the keyloggers, skimming device, installing one device at the ATM machine to steal the information about the victim. So next is, so I have given one scenario for the keyloggers. So in London, so there was an hardware-based identity theft at a Japanese bank in London, March 2005. Earlier, it was not known only because this was an hardware keylogger where it is attached to the keyboard. When we are discussing about the keyloggers, I told you there are two types. One is with the hardware keylogger and with the software keylogger. Where hardware keylogger means physically that device has to get attached to the keyboard circuitry board. The same thing has happened in this scenario. So compromised the attackers were managed to replace the several keyboards in the bank's London office with an identical looking keyboard. They have developed one keyboard with a keylogger. Okay, and somewhat they can able to manage by replacing this keyboard with the original keyboard. So after that what they did is they captured all the employees, whatever the transaction, everything they captured, and attackers were periodically returned to the bank to retrieve the keyloggers or use of the remote access methods to download the recorded data. Then they have exploited the data, so they can able to access the user's account, and they have stolen the money from it, and they have sell the stolen information to the other market criminals, to other criminals. So this is how first they have installed capturing, retrieval, and data exploitation. They have so done. So these are all the techniques of two techniques of the identity theft. One is a human based one and another one is a computer based one. Hope you understood this one. So when you are writing it, please make sure you are writing all the key points and highlighting of it. Okay, thank you so much for listening. We'll meet you in the next video.